Last video, we covered about what are strings and how to create strings in Java. This video, we will understand about the various operations that can be performed on a string. So say for example, I create a string called as DESC and I provide some value. Suppose I say happy learning. Now to perform operations, there are, so say for example, I say print ln. Now I have this variable DESC which has a string value stored happy learning. I can say dot and suppose I say char at. As the name suggests, it gives me the character at a particular index. If you remembered, we saw that strings have indexes just as with arrays. So H is at index 0, A is at index 1, P is at index 2, this P at index 3 and so on. So if I say here char at index 5, so in that case 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to print space, so let's make it 4. Let's compile and execute and see. So you would see I get Y, right? Same way, then you have various methods available. So I can say char at, I can say index of. Always remember in Java, all the methods, they start with small case and then every next word, first letter is capital. Now I want to get the index of what? It should be a character. So for example, I say index of P. Now this is very important to understand that index of always returns the first occurrence of a character. So you can see here we have P twice, but index of returns the first occurrence and which is this P. So to confirm that, I again compile and execute, you would see it returns 2, which is the index of first P, 0, 1, 2. If I want to get the last index, in that case I can say last index of, and now suppose I write P. So we have P twice, it gives me the index of the P that is occurring last. I just add a P over here. Okay. Now if I compile and see, you would get, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 15 characters minus 1 because length gives me 15, but index starts from 0. So this P is 14. So last index of should return 14. Can you see? It gives me the last index of the P. This last index of is very important. So say for example, I have a URL and I say www.techgatha.com/ suppose demos/ Java/ and suppose I say basic.html, right? So I want to get the last index of this slash because then I just want to get this name. In these scenarios, the last index of becomes very handy. Then again, so we have char at, index of, last index of. We can also use a function called as substring. So if I say substring of 4, substring, it gives me a part of a string. It starts from the index 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts from Y and it goes till the end. So if I compile and execute, you would see it starts from Y and it goes till the end. Again, we have substring and this time this substring can take 2 parameters. So if I say 0, 5, in this case it starts from 0. So if you have just one value in the substring, this means it starts from 4 and goes till the end. When I provide 2 values, I am providing the starting and the ending. That means it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and always remember it is end minus 1. That means it will start from 0 and go till 4. So it will print happy. So if I compile, so can you see it prints happy. Then we have a function called as compare to. So suppose I say compare to, and I want to compare with. Now we have the string as happy learning. Now let me change this so I can say, for example, just to make it simple for you to understand. Suppose I say apple and I want to compare with apple. I say apple compare to. Make sure you watch carefully. I'm making this a small. Again, I write here and I make this a small. So you can see here, now compare to is a function that compares if the first value before the compare to is smaller or greater or equal to the second value. Now the compare to function uses ASCII values for comparison. It's like a dictionary. So here you would see APPLE, they both have same case. In that case, the compare to function returns 0. Here, when I am comparing, capital A has an ASCII value of 65. Small a has an ASCII value of 97. Hence, capital A apple is less than the small a apple. Here, because small a has ASCII value 97, I am comparing with A capital A. This is greater than this apple. So in this scenario, it returns a negative value. So if first value is less than the second value, it returns a negative value. If first value is greater than second value, it returns a positive value. So let's compile, execute and see. If you watch carefully, here it is 0 because they both are same. So it comes to 0 if they are equal. Here this particular value, this a has ASCII value 65, this small a has ASCII value 97. 65 minus 97 is minus 32. Small a ASCII value 97 minus 65 is plus 32. Say for example, I do this. Let's see what it prints. So I say apple, right? Now this P is capital and here this remains as it is. So if I compile, this time also it prints minus 32 because again capital A is same, small p is same. Capital P, it must be having some ASCII value, small p, again it comes to minus 32. How about if I make this small? So now in this case, this is capital A, this is small a, then again P, capital P, small p. Still you would see it prints minus 32 because capital A, small a, the difference is here only. It will not go ahead for comparison. Then you have a split function. So I say suppose split and let me take a string as, and I say split on colon. Again split is very important, it is used a lot. So I compile and let's execute and see. Okay, it returns an array, so hence it prints like this. So let's move this. Again let me execute. It has to start from 0, my bad. So you can see we get 3 tokens, it splits on colon. So I got Shalini, I got Mumbai and I got the phone number, right? So this is how you can use the split function, and here you provide within this string which is the delimiter. So this colon is also called as delimiter. So on which particular character you want to break this string into various tokens or split this string into various pieces. Okay, now then we have one more function, so let's explore more. Then these are simple. So for example, I say desc dot to uppercase, I can say to lowercase. Then suppose I create a string and I just say temp is equals to, I put some spaces, I say hello, I put some spaces and semicolon. Fine. Now if I try to just print this temp, and then I say temp dot trim. Let's execute and see. So you would see to uppercase, it converts to uppercase, to lowercase, converts to lowercase. If I print the temp, it prints with spaces. When I say trim, trim is a function which is used to remove spaces. So if you don't want the spaces, you can just use trim. So it removes the leading and the trailing spaces within a string. Then we have a very important function, and that is equals. So if I say DESC equals, and let me just copy this string, I say equals, fine. Now I say equals this. Now when I run this, you would notice over here, this equals returns true because yes, they both are equal. This returns false because even though the content was same, the cases are different. If you want that it should compare just the content and it should ignore the case, in that case you have one more function and you can say equals ignore case. So now can you say it returns true because it ignores the case and it just compares the content. But it is very important to be careful with the equals method. To make you understand about the equals method, I am going to delete all these. We don't need them. And let's understand how equals work. So suppose I say string s1 is equals to hello, right? Let me create a scanner. So we have the scanner in place, we have a string variable, and next. Now I enter a value. So suppose I enter hello itself, whatever it is. Now see, if I say s1 dot equals s2, or if I say s1 equal to s2. We all know that equal to is the equality operator for comparison. So definitely if I am entering over here as string as hello, this should return true and this should also return true, right? So let's execute and see what happens. Now see, I am entering an input. We already have s1 as hello. I enter capital HELLO, which is the same as over here, and I just hit the enter key. Can you see the first one returns true and the second one returns false? So remember that whenever you are comparing with strings, you never use equal to, you always use the equals function. This is very important. One last thing to note with strings is, say for example, I have s1 is hello and I say system.out.println and s1 dot, I can use any of the functions. So I say uppercase, right? Now if I try to just print s1, what do you think the output will be? So here definitely it prints the hello in uppercase. Do you think it's going to print hello in uppercase here as well? Let's check. Can you see here it prints hello in capital, but it does not modifies the s1. It remains hello as it is. So this is very important to note that when you are using operations or methods on a string, they do not modify the original string. If you want it to be modified, in that case you have to actually do this. You have to replace s1 equals to s1 dot to uppercase if you actually want to modify the original value. So let's execute and see. So you would see over here that now this time this is hello uppercase, that's definitely right. But now because I've converted to uppercase and replaced or overwritten the s1, hence the s1 gets modified. So always remember that the methods do not directly operate on the strings themselves. Then we have few more methods. So say for example I say s1 dot and I want to see if it starts with. and suppose I say, does it starts with HE? I suppose say I have a string and I'll say I want to see if this particular string ends with and dot jpg. So maybe I'm interested on all the file names which ends with jpg, right? I can do that as well. So we have starts with, we have ends with. So you can see starts with S1, it returns false because we have converted the S1 over here to capital HELLO. It ends with .jpg, yes, it returns true. So here again you can see it is case sensitive, so you have to be careful when you are comparing with starts with and ends with. Then we have one more function called as replace. So suppose I want to replace this, so I'll say S1 is equals to and all the A with, suppose I put O. Again let's execute and see what it prints. So I love, and can you see it replaces the string S1 with O. Again it is very important to note, if I go ahead and print S1, and now if you would see, it does not replaces or overrides the original string. You have just replaced it with A with O and it just prints it, but it does not actually changes the original content. The original content remains as it is, that is I love Java. It just changes over here and prints I love Jovo. Last but not the least, you can definitely chain methods. So suppose I can say S1 is I love Java. I say S1 dot substring of 2 comma 6 and I can say dot length. So I can actually combine. Remember, this length returns an integer. So now here if I say dot, it's definitely not going to make any sense. So let's again execute and see. So you can see it returns 4. Substring starts from 2, 0, 1, 2, that is L, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's end minus 1. So LOVE has a length of 4. So this is how you can use various string methods. Hope you enjoyed learning about the string operations, and remember they are very important. So with this we come to an end of this video. Happy learning, take care and bye-bye.